Hey, geographers. Welcome to yet another geographic information science how to video. This one is all about working with zipped data or compressed data, which is something you're going to see a lot as you're trying to find freely available, ready to go data from around the web. Typically, when you're downloading it, it comes in a zip format. And if you're watching this because you're taking my class, this is how I'm going to be getting data to you through Canvas or whatever we're using at this moment in time. But it'll be zipped data files that you download, put onto your computer, and then you need to unzip or decompress these files. Pretty straightforward, but not everybody knows how this works. So that's the plan here. So, for an example, I have, let's hide that. I have this zipped data file, just a generic one, this wetlands data that I found online. I downloaded it. It's in my downloads folder. And when you're downloading something, you can typically find it, in your downloads folder if you didn't pay attention to where it went. Or you can, if you're paying attention, you can specify exactly where it's going to. And if you really don't know what's going on, which can happen as we're starting out with this stuff, you download something. Where is it? Click on this little file explorer icon. Hopefully, is at the bottom of your screen. Click on that. Look on the side here for that downloads quick link, and you'll find it. It should be up at the top of the list right here. Okay, so we find it, we locate it. Another thing, as you're working with this stuff, is we want to make sure that we can see file extensions, meaning what kind of file is it that I'm dealing with. And so at the very end of the name, there'll be a dot or a little period, and then a 3 or a 4 letter extension. So this one, it's .zip, which means it's a compressed or zipped folder. Okay, and it also, this one's a little confusing. Don't, this GDB, ignore that. But you want to see at the end, you should see a .zip for something like this. And if you don't, or if you just want to make sure, if you're watching this and want to know what's going on, go into your File Explorer, and in View, click that, and then go down to Show, and make sure this file name extensions is checked. You should have a little check mark next to it. And it's a thing where trying to make this easy and less scary for non-tech people, they get rid of these extensions, just make it look simple, but that's actually confusing to a lot of people who are working with this stuff. And if you're doing the GIS stuff, you want to know what kind of file you're dealing with. So make sure that's checked. Make sure you can see it, and you're going to be ready to go. Okay. So when we have this downloaded, we see it. To access this, to get into the data, as I said, we have to unzip it. And so what it is, I don't think I explained this yet. There's some A+ teaching for you. What a zipped file is, or a compressed folder, or anything along these lines. It's we take the data, whatever those data may be. In this case, this is all the wetlands throughout California as it derived from some remote sensing data set, something along those lines. So it's a lot of this geographic data, but it's put into this single folder, and it's shrunk down to reduce the file size to make it easier to send across the internet, to email it, to download it, whatever. So it shrinks it. That's part of this compression thing, but it also bundles everything together, okay, so that it's ready to be shipped from one computer to another. Okay, that's the idea behind it. Now, as it's zipped, the contents in here are off limits to programs like ArcGIS Pro. You can't actually access them while it's zipped. It's all in here. And in fact, if I double click on it, it takes me to the actual folder. I double click on it again. It takes me to the geographic data inside. This is all going to look weird and kind of scary. Don't worry about it. We'll get into what's going on. And the good news is you never have to look at it this way. You're going to see pretty shapes and the locations of things, but this is what's in that folder. So all the data are there, but we can't get to them until we actually unzip it, right? So let me go back to the main thing here. So when it's in the zipped format, we have to unzip it. And if it is a zip file, a .zip, real easy. All you have to do is right click, go down to extract all, and it'll give you options. This is where you could decide, oh, I want to save this elsewhere. I want to put it in some other location. I can navigate in here. I can go browse, or if I know exactly where it needs to be, I can put it in some specific location. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to delete the name of this folder and just put it right into downloads here, because I know that folder is already going to be in there. It's going to be redundant. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world if I don't do it, but I'm going to do it to make my life easier. So I'm just going to extract it into the downloads folder. I hit extract. It thinks. It's doing all its computer magic behind the scenes. And beautiful. I now have this GDB folder. This is a file geodatabase. It's specific to ArcGIS, something we're going to be working with. But now it's ready to go because I got rid of that zip extension. Same weird, scary computer files in here. But the main thing is our software can access this stuff, right? And in fact, if I do this, let's go to large icons, you can see the difference in the little icon they use to symbolize each one. The zipped file has a zipper across. Isn't that precious? Isn't that adorable? And when I've unzipped it, it doesn't have that anymore. And like the little files are kind of peeking out saying, hey, we're ready to go. Okay, and that's how it works. I keep it in details here just because that's kind of more of a pro move. Don't have those big icons, but whatever. You do you. Okay, so we did that. Fantastic. Now here's another issue that you might have. The zip files, Windows can handle just fine. Fantastic. There are other files that it cannot handle. Let me go ahead and just delete this so we don't get confused here. So sometimes it's .zip. Then there are other ones. There's a .tar, a I want to say GZ. Those are two that we'll see when working with GIS data from around the web. So these are just other compression algorithms that shrink and bundle the stuff down and make it able to be sent from one place to another. Very similar. The problem is the built-in Windows functionality, at least the last time I tried it, these things can always change, it doesn't work with some of these other ones. So a great thing to have if you want to be a real GIS person, a real computer savvy person, is to get what's called 7-zip. You can just throw it in Google. I think it's 7zip.org, but you can just Google the stuff. It'll take you there. I click on 7-zip and it'll bring me up to this, rudimentary kind of basic website to download 7-zip, which is a totally free program that allows you to unzip or decompress a bunch of other formats. So very useful to have on your computer. When you go here, you got some options. It gives me this, download 7-zip, for Windows x64. Then we've got these other ones for this 32-bit or this other 64-bit or whatever. It can be confusing, can be daunting. If you don't know exactly which one you should get, what kind of computer you have, what you're working with here, go into settings. So this little Windows thing, settings. Scroll all the way down from this main system window. Go to about. And down here, system type, 64-bit operating system, x64 based processor. Perfect. That's this first one. I don't know if it's the first one because it's reading my computer. Some things do that. It could also be this is what most of us have, so they put that first. I don't know, but that's what I need. So I simply hit download, find a place to save it, put it in my downloads folder because I got stuff going on. And beautiful. It's done. It gives you that little executable file or .exe. So you can just double click on that and it'll start the install process. I already have it loaded, so I'm not going to install it. I'm also using my work supplied computer where they don't trust me at all. I have no power whatsoever. So even if I wanted to install it, I couldn't. I would have to make some calls and have someone come in and install it for me like I'm a toddler. But whatever. You double click that, say yes, go through the thing, okay, whatever, get it installed. And once you have that, you should be able to right click on the zip file in question. It won't, with Windows 11, they kind of hid some things, but if you go to show more options, it'll give you this old window, and we have 7-zip here when it's installed. And if you install it and you go to look and you don't see it, restart your computer, it should pop up, once you do that. But from here, we have some more options and functionality. But all I'm going to do with this one, I'll just do extract here. It's the same thing. It just moved a little quicker, didn't give me options because I said just put it right here. But it's unzipped it that way. Again, a zip file, the Windows stuff is fine, but when you get into some of these other compression algorithms and all that, you need 7-zip to do this. Okay, so that's how we're going to access data, get this stuff ready to go. And once we've unzipped it, we can take it into our GIS software and actually do things with it. Okay, that's the secret to unzipping. Enjoy.